Welcome to WO50, Women Over 50 Embody Wisdom and Wellness.
I sure hope we do. My name is Corinne, and I'm here with my BFF, Eddie. And today, our topic on WO50 is the Queen of the Fretboard, Ellen Britton. We have a guest today, Eddie. We have a guest. Our dear friend Ellen.
She's our guitar player, teacher.
She's our guitar teacher. Yes.
Yeah, she was your teacher longer than my teacher.
Well, she's an amazing woman over 50 is what she is. And
I
even
can't
if you
believe she's
can you be 70? I know. So even if you don't play music or don't play guitar, she's just an amazing woman over 50 who her philosophy of life, I feel like it can be just translated into any life. Like I feel like
Absolutely.
it's a beautiful podcast to listen to, and she's just I just love her.
I do too. It was really soulful and beautiful and real, and she's just so
She's wise.
full and wise, and that's what we love here.
And well-spoken.
Well-spoken, so bright.
Funny.
and
God,
played-
she had us cracking
Oh
up.
my gosh, she's played, like, we didn't even get into who she played with. Like, we could have been dropping names, like she had Martina McBride, but she's Pam Tillis and Jody Messina, and like all these people started to come into my head afterwards.
That
and
she's
I'm
played
going,
with. Yeah.
Yes,
That
and-
she's toured with and played with. Yeah.
And she's in that amazing group, Queen of Hearts, and that even came into my head when we were talking, like early 90s. She was at the Bluebird, and I'm like, oh my God, that's Ellen.
Yes.
That's Ellen.
That's Ellen. Now you
my
put it
guitar
together.
player. Yeah. See how that's why living on this planet for this amount of time, and then boom, we get this happening. It's so beautiful.
All right.
Hi, Ellen.
Hello, friends. Hello. Here we are.
Oh my gosh. So Eddie came up with a title for our topic today. And Eddie, before I tell Ellen what the title is,
Yeah.
did you know she is in a band called the Queen of Hearts?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
I
okay.
did know.
Okay.
I did know.
So
Yes.
tell her what
Yes.
the title is that you came up with for today.
Queen of the Fretboard.
Yes.
Oh, I might have to steal that. I really love
Queen of the Fretboard. Yep.
Yes. All right. Well, that's a lot of pressure, but I'll try and step up.
Well, you are queen of the fretboard. Like,
Yeah, you are.
You've helped me so much, even that little bit, and we'll get into that and talk about
Well,
that. But yeah,
First, can we impress? We'll just do a little bit of fangirling now. Can we impress our viewers? Just because most people don't live in Nashville that are going to be listening and tuning in. So I do know for sure that you played with Martina McBride for that's
Yes.
yeah.
Well, I did, and it was I mean, what an amazing singer! What a joy to get to play and sing with somebody like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you know that she considered, because her and I've been friends for a long time, and she considered, of course, she'd never seen me play guitar. Many years ago, she considered she was like, Corinne, maybe you could come on tour with us and play and sing. I was like, no.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, actually. And you're such a wonderful singer, too. I mean, that was kind of my job with all the different artists I work with, was playing guitar and singing harmony, which is maybe my favorite thing in the world.
Well, that's because the Queen of Hearts, all four of you do harmony, right? It's all.
Yes, we do.
And
Yes.
because all four of you are amazing lead singers, which is the key to being a good harmony, don't you think?
I do. Well, that's interesting. I never exactly thought about it quite like that. I don't know if it's exactly the same skill set. I think to sing harmony, you're obviously one part of a larger whole, and so listening to the other singers and blending with them and kind of listening to the larger sound is, I guess, the most important job, which is not exactly what the lead singer is thinking, focused on the lead vocal, obviously.
So
Yeah.
true. Because I want to not. Most lead singers actually are not great harmony singers, but I've always had the feeling that most harmony singers are very good singers, like lead singers,
Yeah.
like Sheryl Crow, for instance. She
Yes.
was a very famous backup singer for many, many years. And of
Yes.
course, she is who she is. So
Yes.
incredible.
Well,
Yes.
before I moved to Nashville, I remember I loved singing harmony. I did it with
Yeah.
my sisters, but I thought every singer could sing harmony. And I said that to you when we were doing a guitar lesson, and I'm like, I just thought everyone could hear it. And I could hear those four harmonies when
Yeah.
everyone's singing. I'm like, and I thought, every singer can hear it, but
Not true.
No, no.
Not true. I do think the majority of singers, if you can sing the melody, you can probably figure out a harmony, but not all of them. It's funny how we can have blind spots. Well, like what is obvious to other people, we just it just doesn't come to us, or we have to learn it. It's not a natural thing.
And here we are. This is the Ellen we know and love. That statement right there is why we wanted you to be on. So
Oh my God, what did I just say? I can't even remember.
right,
what I
yeah.
just-
So, and I was telling Colleen was very excited that you were going to be on with us, and she said Ellen is just like this amazing person, this amazing woman who is naturally, very naturally a good person living a good life, very intuitive, very, it's true because I feel like I've studied my whole life to be, for a lot of my stuff, studying the mind and happiness and joy. And I feel it just comes to like, it's very natural for you.
Well, that's such a sweet and generous description. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's some truth in that. But at the same time, and this will connect with our theme here, I'm old, so I've had a while to figure some things out, and I like to think I figured one or two things out in my time here. And it's funny that we're having this conversation because in a week or two, let me just think about this, in 11 days, I'm going to be 70 years old. So I'd like to think in 70 years, I've learned something, that I figured something out. And so the idea that I just naturally do whatever it is that I do, that's partly true, but also I have, there's just a lot of trial and error in a 70-year-old life. And if you're paying attention, you will learn from that trial and error. So it's not necessarily some inborn talent. A lot of this stuff is learned the hard way, right?
Well, Ellen, when I met you, Corinne she goes, you got to go in and take a lesson with Ellen. And, and of course, Corinne was like, had you raised up here like Colleen too. So we call you the guitar goddess as well. Right?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay.
And now this is already after I've been taking lessons for 30 years.
Yes. And I have been self-taught, which, self-taught, I hear it, and then I go home and I piddle with it and I put my fingers in the wrong place and a sound comes out. And so I'm so nervous with going in and with my music to sit with you.
She was very nervous.
And I was. And then it was such an amazing session. Like, you're such a great teacher because I left, all of it fell away right away. Like, I knew as soon as I sat with you, the nerves just fell because there was just your energy. And then your way of teaching was like, no, that sounds really good. But if you did placement this way and the way you brought out what I was capable of doing, because I'm going, oh God, she's going to take that finger out of there and don't put that finger there. But you actually worked with, it's like making a cake. You worked with the ingredients you got. Like, it was so.
That's right.
I left going, oh my God, I want to be in Nashville every week. And Corinne goes, remember, she Zooms. I'm like,
Yes.
Oh, yes, she teaches on Zoom. Eddie, we talked about that right before you logged on, Ellen. And Eddie's like, she does. And I'm like, Eddie, we took a lesson with her on Zoom together.
Yes, remember? She was a little face on a little screen. She's actually larger than that. But yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I do have Zoom students all over everywhere. I have a Zoom student in Australia, which I don't know, makes me feel like some sort of worldwide mogul of the guitar. I have a guitar student in Australia and, well, in Canada, I have several students. I mean, I have them like all over the place, which is the coolest thing ever. I mean, just thank you, Zoom, or thank you, Internet, that I can have students all over everywhere. And it's funny how you can get used to there's nothing like being in person in a room with somebody. I don't think we'll ever stop preferring to
Yes.
actually be together in person. But Zoom is a pretty close second, and it kind of makes the whole world possible, So I'm very, very happy that we have that option.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I know what one of the things I want to say when we introduce you before this podcast today is that I know that this will be interesting to everybody, not just people who are interested in music or guitar. Because one of the reasons why I love you so much is because even though you feel like you've gotten wiser with age and you're almost 70, which is freaking amazing to me, I feel like since I met you when I was in my 20s, or 30 at the oldest. Maybe I was 31 when I met you,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
so it's about 30 years I've known you.
yeah.
And I felt like you were wise and of course empowering, but maybe it's because I was young. I don't know, but
Yeah. Well, good. I do feel, I mean, I think about this all day long because I do it all day long for many, many years. This idea of like teaching and what I aspire to do, and I take that role really seriously, in terms of, I guess what I'm trying to say is in terms of how I want the student to feel about the experience and what I feel the role of the teacher is, and what is constructive and helpful and what is not. So I guess what I'm saying there, I'll be a little more specific and not so vague, is that if I really feel like at the end of every lesson, the student should walk out the door feeling more empowered, more positive about what they're capable of, and clearer about how to go home and work on whatever it is they want to work on. So I feel like if the student doesn't walk out feeling better than when they walked in, more confident, more less worried, less anxious. That's sort of what I'm including with the idea of being clear about how to work on something. Then I really haven't done my job. Seriously, I haven't done my job, because learning something, there's potentially a lot of stress that comes along with that, or can come along with that. Like people are nervous, people feel like there's just, and this is probably unavoidable. I was going to say natural, it's probably just baked in, that if you really care about music and it feels really important to you, then you're going to feel a lot of intense emotion about, well, is what I do going to be good enough? There's just a whole lot of stuff that comes along with that. And so I try to be sensitive to the vulnerability of the student in the lesson, and try and support people in being that position. First of all, when any of us tries something new, we're stepping outside, by definition, outside of our comfort zone, and we're doing it in front of somebody, and we are making ourselves vulnerable. I mean, if we're not, I don't think there's a way to avoid that. I think that's just the way the process is. And so I try to be positive, not in a bullshit kind of way, because that's kind of insulting to everybody, but positive in the sense of reminding the person what their strengths are, because in that moment they forgot about their strengths. They're like just very aware of like, oh, my fingers do this, and I know this doesn't sound good, and I have no idea about this other thing, and oh my God. I mean, there's just a lot to be self-conscious about. And so all that inner talk in our head about, oh, I'm not going to be good enough, she's going to criticize me this way, and my fingers are weak, and how come this sounds crappy, and whatever. All that blah, blah, blah is, even if some of it is to some extent true, it's still a distorted perception of yourself, because in that moment you've forgotten, or you're just not thinking about all the things that you can do. So it's really a lopsided picture, and I feel like part of my role is to rebalance the feeling of the student in real time. Like, yeah, that sounds really good. Oh, and I like your voice. And oh, you're picking well. Hey, why don't you put your finger here and then we'll do. So in other words, I say positive things to support people, not in a sort of fake, let's all feel good about everything all the time way, but in a way of sort of reminding them, having a more realistic picture of themselves. Yeah, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and we're here to work on the things that you're not satisfied with. But let's take that foundation of confidence that we should feel in the things that we're doing well and build on it. I don't know. Did any of that make sense?
You know what, Ellen? Perfect sense. And as you're speaking, I'm thinking about me in my office where I see people for lifestyle counseling, nutritional changes, and they come in. Some don't want to talk about dairy or gluten or sugar. They want to do the emotional piece. And you take what is coming at you and what you have to work with. And yeah, if you don't shit on somebody because they're like, you're still eating sugar, like,
Right,
or you can't get that little pinky on that cord.
Right.
Like, it's also applicable, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
also
Well, learning
relevant.
is learning. I mean, learning and all kinds of growing. And here's another thing. I'll bet you will agree with me on this. If you don't, I'm curious to hear what you have to say, but I'll bet it's all connected. So I feel like we all learn. It's just the human way we're wired. We learn best when we are more relaxed and can open up and be receptive to whatever the challenge is at hand. And so kind of the first job is to set people at ease and create some sort of positive feeling. And there's all kinds of ways to do that. I mean, humor is maybe my favorite tool to lighten the load and make people feel more open. Because if we're all freaked out and uptight and defended, then we sort of, tighten up. It's very hard to learn in that state. It just doesn't work very well. Aside from it's not being any fun, it just doesn't work very well. So the human brain, it's like that fear is kind of fighting against the learning. So just from a practical standpoint, it's like, well, if I thought that making my students afraid by criticizing them and hollering at them and rapping, if I thought that was going to work well, I guess we could debate whether that would be a good idea, but I don't think it even works well.
No.
Well, I don't. Seriously, I don't think I know anybody who has had piano lessons that had a good experience as a child. How is that
I have
possible?
not heard that. Yeah. I have not heard that one time. I've taught like 84 million people who took piano lessons as children, and they all come in, and sadly, they all tell almost word for word the same story about how they hated, and their piano teacher was a shrew, and their mother made them practice, and they quit as soon as they could, blah, blah, blah. I've never one time heard, not once, I've taught my whole life, have I heard somebody go in, yeah, I took piano lessons when I was little. I loved it. I practiced all the time. I learned so much. I thanked my mother several times for me, And I'm like,
Never.
wow, maybe somebody should reconsider that model,
Yeah, really.
And
Really?
I know from knowing you, I think your dad was also a guitar teacher. Is that right?
Yes, I'm at least a second generation. There's musicians going way back, and probably some of them were teachers, but my dad for sure was a folk singer, kind of a little Philadelphia local version of Pete Seeger, sort of from that
Nice.
generation. So I grew up not just around playing guitar and music, but around teaching. And my dad, I sort of have my own style in a lot of ways, but he was a very joyful person in the way he would talk to his students and stuff. So there was a lot of like having fun and enjoyment was definitely like a thing that he tried to cultivate.
Did he really encourage you to play music? Was he a big part of that?
Yes, in fact, I would say, and he's been gone since 2010, but I think it was, to be honest with you, kind of a mixed, or for me, the way I experienced it, it was kind of a mixed, complicated thing, because He absolutely, well, let me show you. Hang on one second. I'm going to show you a little something from the, I don't know if this will translate onto Zoom, but
Yes.
Oh,
Oh.
sweet. Look at you, destined.
so the funny thing is that there's a date on the back of this picture, and I'm not even 2 years old. So
I was
first
gonna
of all,
say.
Wow.
and this is actually not a guitar. This is a ukulele. It just looks like a guitar because I'm like a shrimp here. I'm
Yeah.
not too. But anyway, it's actually, in my opinion, way too soon to put a ukulele, put a stringed instrument in the hands of a 2 year. I'm not even 2 years old in this picture. So anyway, so I was exposed obviously to music and really just was in an environment where it was just everywhere all the time. But I also I felt pressured, like I was supposed to do that, and that it, to please my dad, and little girls love to please their dads, and so it kind of got mixed up in like, who was it for? Was it for me or was it for him? Of course, the answer is both, because that's the way people are. Everything's a mix of things, but. So it took me a while and maybe I'm still figuring this out, like, sort of trying to untangle some of that. So I don't think that it's kind of a pure experience being in a family like that.
It's in India, they call it dharma. When you are following in your family's footsteps of what's passed down to you. So if a shoemaker, his son will become a shoemaker as well, right?
Wow.
And it's a very natural thing that you say it's both, and that seems very natural because it's in your genes. It's
Yeah.
natural for you. And you enjoyed it, obviously, but
Yes.
then had to make peace with it and figure out what you wanted, right? Is what I
Yes.
was hearing. Yeah.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. And, yeah, I don't know if it kind of has to be that way or if there was something about my dad's personality that made it that way. It's a little hard for me to be objective and have, a completely clear perspective on it. But it was something that I certainly thought a lot about when I became a parent. We have a son and a daughter who are now in their mid-30s and doing great and doing all sorts of cool things. They're both musical. Our son, who was the older, went to college and got for music and got a degree in jazz and was like an exceptionally talented musician and songwriter. And our daughter just decided to do it for fun. And what the joke because my husband's also a musician, the joke we always made about our daughter, or she made the joke actually, was that in our family, you rebel by not being a musician.
That's hilarious.
And which first of all, it's a funny joke, but also, do what you need to do. Kids need to do what they need to do, what feels right to set themselves free or, try to move in the direction of freedom. Let's put it that way. But anyway, so I tried to be mindful of, even though I don't think you can ever reduce it to zero, but to try and be mindful about respecting their independence and their own feeling free to choose, what their own relationships would be to music and figure those things out for themselves and to try to not impose a lot of that, of my own wishes and preferences onto them, because I think it's kind of unfair and just really not good for anybody in the end. I don't know that I was successful. Any parent who claims that they were like completely successful in all the things they set out to do is just a complete liar. I mean, you have to ask my kids, like, so what was that actually like? Here's what your mom thought she was doing. How well did that work? I mean, the kids are the ones who can actually tell you the truth of what it was like for them. But that's what I was thinking about anyway.
Yep, it's their point of view.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just think as a parent, it's the easiest thing in the world to like congratulate yourself and go, oh yeah, we never put any pressure on our kids, or we did this and we did this right and we did that right. It's like, the idea that you can know that for sure is probably not entirely humble. That's what I'm saying. Ask your kids how well you did with that thing that you think you did so great with.
Just run away when they start to answer. Just say, okay,
I
bye.
know. You will hear the truth, and probably it's going to hurt some, but you know.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Oh, I love all that. And this is why I love you so much, because it does translate. It's like everything I've ever learned from you in between the actual guitar playing was all life stuff and was
Yeah,
all so supportive. And what, as you were describing, as Eddie was saying, she does the same thing, and then I do the same thing with my clients. I think
yeah,
it's a life philosophy to uplift people and to see the good in people, because it just serves everybody all the way around. And it's not that you're doing a fake thing; you're
right.
just choosing to see what's working,
Yeah,
rather than pointing out, because I feel like most of us know what's not working
that's right. That's
already.
right.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right. And I
yeah,
think that inner, or maybe we don't entirely know all the things that aren't working, but our inner dialogue, like what is the voices in our head. I don't know if this is true for everybody. Maybe I shouldn't assume, but it seems to me that it tends to be more negative, the voices in your head, and um, if that were always entirely true, that would be one thing. But it's not. Just because you believe it doesn't make it true,
yeah. Or
right?
just because you think it doesn't make it true.
There we go. So this idea of having all this stuff in our, and I just think most people I know that I talk to about this, it's we'll say the same thing. There's just this inner critic that is talking inside our heads so often, whatever it is, whatever it is. And it's sort of like there's a million ways to be negative, right? Like, oh, how come that G chord sucks? Oh, you should have done this already when you were younger. You should be better along by now. Why don't you practice more? I mean, just like it's the meanest, most unrelentingly critical
Yeah.
chorus in our head. And it's like, it's just not even true so often. And that's
Yeah.
what I'm always trying to figure out, how to speak honestly and truthfully to people in a way that is supportive. Well, I'm sure you both, I mean, anybody who works with people is probably going to understand what we're talking about here, right?
Yeah.
Because not speaking the truth to people is, like I said earlier, not just insulting, but unhelpful and also kind of unethical. I feel like I owe people the truth. But sometimes when people say that, they think that means like being cruel.
Right. I mean, like they can
Yeah.
you can shit all over them because it's your opinion. What they think being truthful is your opinion. Your opinion is not truth usually.
That's such an interesting angle on it. I really, really like that. But people also will conflate, somebody will say something very unkind and say, well, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you? Is
Yeah.
that the whole truth? I question that. I really do. I question that. But at the same time, if you say things to people with the intention of being supportive, they're only powerful if they're true. Like bullshit is actually not that powerful,
Right. Right.
especially compared to the truth, right? So I think the art of it, and one of the things that makes my job so interesting and compelling, even though I've done it my whole life, is trying to be truthful and kind at the same time. I feel like those are like the twin responsibilities, to be kind and truthful. And if you think you can't, if you haven't figured out, if you think you have to pick one or the other, keep thinking, like keep working on that. Because that's kind of the creativity of it. Like how to talk to people and offer them the truth in a way that is helpful and constructive to them.
Yeah.
And I just believe that there's always a way. If I haven't figured it out yet, I'm going to keep trying to figure out how can I present the truth in a helpful way.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Well,
And
I
bet
feel-
you feel, I bet you feel really good when people come in and say, I've really practiced really hard. Because I bet
Well,
that
what
makes you
could be
happy.
better?
And somebody coming in going, I didn't practice this week. And
Yes,
you're not going to get upset. You're going to go, oh, I would have been happier if you had, but okay.
but
let's
you
start
don't
again."
even,
But you don't even say it.
You don't
Yeah.
even, not even that. You don't say it.
Yeah.
But you just, I don't know. What would you say? Like, I think I even came in to you and I was like, Ellen, I have not picked up my guitar in like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just information. I could talk, I'll try not to give a whole speech about this, but it happens all the time. But number one, you're not practicing for me one way or the other. So whether you practice or not, it's not about me, and you don't owe me a report on that. I'm not the mother superior. I'm not like, this is not a confession booth or something where you're going to come in and confess whatever you did or didn't do. And, and then I, give you your punishment or scold you or whatever. It's like I just am so bored by that. And I'm bored by it. I don't want to be that person. Actually, and I hope this doesn't come out the wrong way. I'm going to, on purpose, say it in a provocative, strange sounding way, and then I'll try and explain myself. I don't care if you practiced or not. Meaning, it's not about me. It's actually not going to change what we do in the lesson. In other words, the student walks in the room, and I really mostly just meet them where they are, wherever the hell that is. And we're going to figure out how to have the best guitar lesson, figure out what is the most inspiring thing to you, what's the most useful thing to you, whatever that is. And whether you practiced or not isn't actually that relevant to that process. So I hope you did whatever made you happy.
That's
right?
awesome. That's the key right there, meeting people where they are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really a life lesson right there. If we can meet everybody where they are, that's a beautiful, beautiful intention.
And that's the present moment.
It is an intention, and I feel like I'm not claiming that I like 100% success in, let me maybe clarify what I'm talking about. So in general, when I'm teaching people, that's when I see them, is for their lesson. So for 50 minutes, I bring this attitude and awareness into that lesson. With people in my family or my friends, or things get a lot more complicated. I'm not claiming, I can meet every human being where they are all day long, no matter what. It's like, okay, that's the preposterous claim to make. I mean, of course not. Okay. Wouldn't that be great? Okay. So I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm saying that in my professional role as a teacher, I actually am able to do that because we have this certain time together, and it's actually fairly clearly defined, which I really find useful. I'm your teacher, and we're going to spend this time together. And you know what this lesson is about? Serving you.
Yeah.
It truly is. It's like, I don't personally have an agenda. And here's another crazy thing that will probably come out wrong, but I love it and think about it all the time. So this is how I make my living. This is my job. I'm a full-time teacher. I've done this for a million years. For someone to pay me their hard-earned money is so clarifying, maybe for both of us, certainly for me. That's like, so you are paying for my time and my attention and my expertise, and you pay me, and now that is so clarifying. This really is your lesson. It's your 50 minutes. I truly am here to serve you. This is not like well, this is some sort of reciprocal equal thing. It's actually not. I'm the servant. And I love that. I love it. I'm fascinated by it. And if you really devote yourself to that, every lesson is interesting, isn't it? Like people are interesting, and where they are in the moment is so worthy of attention.
And
And
don't you find it's where you are as well? Like, do you find like
oh,
you're
yeah.
like as you've gotten older, like I know I've everything shifts, right? Like, don't you
Yes.
find it shifted? Like your
Yeah.
relationship with music, your patience, like
Yes.
have
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I have. In fact, here's something that I found myself saying to a friend, and I was just discovering it as I was saying it. I've thought so much about, which is, again, I'm a second generation guitar teacher. I grew up around it, and I've been doing it just virtually my whole life. Like over 50 years, I've been a teacher, which is crazy. First of all, I think I'm a better teacher now than when I started, which is another way of saying maybe I wasn't a very good teacher when I started. Like, in other words, I feel like I had to learn. It's taken me a long time. It had to do with, I don't know, a million things. Like I had to grow up. I had to learn how to bring my whole self to the process. But what I was saying to my friend not long ago was, I actually enjoy teaching more now after having done it for decades and decades, more than I used to. It's like all the time. I just enjoy it more and more, as opposed to like getting burned out and saying, yeah, I am burned out and I need to stop doing it. I feel the opposite. I just feel like people are more and more interesting to me, and I feel like I have a little, I'm more comfortable in my role, I think. I'll bet the two of you would say the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I
for
mean, I hate
sure.
to think when I first started life coaching.
Yeah. We have
Oh
to
my gosh.
learn.
Yeah, well, fortunately, I feel like I was, sort of naturally doing that with all my friends.
Right. Yeah, yeah,
Anyway, so it wasn't like it started totally from scratch, but yeah, no, I think about that all the time actually.
Yeah.
And
Oh, and
yeah,
and a lot of times compassion burnout can happen. You know, you're
yes,
serving and then you're not taking the time for yourself. You're raising
right,
your children. You
right.
know, we both have kids in their 30s
Yeah,
and you think back to how you are now to how you were then. Like
yes, of
I'm
course.
such a different teacher or,
Yes,
yeah. And there's so much more coming at you. Like I'm also wondering you were a performer as well, like you were on
yes.
stage, and do you still do that? And like I think you should because you're amazingly talented, and I hear from a lot of people who have gotten older that they don't do it anymore because they're like, the young ones are doing it and they can have the stage. And but
I
oh my
love
gosh,
performing. Yeah, I do it. I
good.
don't do it as often, but it's
Yeah.
not because I don't want to. I don't know. I don't know. It's just the way it has evolved. But
Yeah.
um, I, I am in this female vocal band called Queen of Hearts, and there's four of us. So I plus three other singer-songwriters, and we all sing our own original. So each of us we take turns. So it's kind of like I describe it as a cross between a round, which is a Nashville thing where you take turns singing songs. So it's a cross between a round and a band because like I'll sing a song I wrote, and the other three sing harmony and play, and then it's April's turn, and then it's Helen's turn, and then it's Susie's turn. And so we are a band, but there's not just one front person. Each of us takes a turn singing her own original song. So I don't know what. And by the way, we're all mature. I'll just say that two of us are 70 or turning 70, and the other two are 60 some or in their early 60s. I can't remember, early
Excellent.
60s maybe, but like, you know, none of us is a teeny bopper, and it's been, a long time. We're far beyond that. And so we are going to be, I don't know when this is going to air, but we're playing at the Bluebird Cafe, which is a really well-known songwriter club here in Nashville, in a couple weeks. And we're doing a couple of house concerts. in conjunction with the Bluebird. One funny thing about our band is that we don't all live in one place. 3 of us now live in Nashville, but one of the queens, April, lives in South Carolina. So we don't get to sing together whenever we want, because April has to come in from South Carolina, and it's not like around the corner or anything. So, I mean, that's one constraint on how often we can play, but I look forward to it so much. First of all, my dad was a performer, not just a teacher. He loved performing. That was his happy place. And I started performing when I don't remember. That's how young I must have been, just a tiny little kid. So I performed my whole life, and I just love performing. I love it. And I feel like I'm not really myself if I go for too long without doing it. So I'm really looking forward to these gigs coming up in a couple weeks. And also, as I said earlier, singing harmony, I think, is my favorite. It's like one of my top peak life experiences that I never get tired of. I just love it. I think it's fascinating. I think it's beautiful. I think it makes the world a better place for people to sing together. And it just fills me up, and I just don't get tired of it. I also just think musically, it's one of the primal experiences that we can have. First of all, singing, period, is like our bodies are made for it somehow. Mm-hmm. And then when you sing with other people, it's not like anything else, really. It's some sort of bonding experience. Mm-hmm. And that's why I just feel like the world needs as much of that as it can possibly get. And me too. Like, it's good for the world. It's good for us. It's good for the audience. It's just like, it's like a superpower. It's like sticking your finger into like some sort of electrical current, except it's good.
Yeah, it's a universal. Music is a universal language. You feel it. Everyone feels it. And I bet I wish I was in Nashville to see you guys then, because back in the early '90s is when I lived in Nashville, and you guys used to be at the Bluebird a lot, and I think they used to sell out all the time when your group was there. So they're so lucky, like you guys get to show up again, like that people get to go, oh yay! Like I say, when I show up for something that I played 30 years ago, I'm like, yep, I'm still here,
haven't stopped. I know, and I think because I'll now connect this with our theme about aging. That I think. Well, I live in Nashville and have lived here for 30 plus years. So Nashville is a fabulous place in a million ways. Living in a music city and a creative community, it feels like, like everybody's a songwriter, everybody's a singer, everybody's a guitar player, everybody's, got music going on. And you forget that out there in the rest of the world, in Normalville or whatever, everyone is not, like, music is not the center of their life. It's not like that. Like my daughter, when she went to college in Pennsylvania, and she happened to mention in passing, I don't remember why, she was saying to her friends, yeah, my mom's in a band. And they were like, your mom is in a band? Like, that's the coolest thing. It's like, yeah, but see, in Nashville, everyone's in a band. Like, that's not special at all in Nashville. Everyone's like, yeah, you're in a band. Okay, whatever. Like, the plumber's in a band. Like, whatever. Everyone's like, that's just kind of a given. But out again in normal world, it's kind. I get the feeling that some people are like, wait, you're still in a band? Aren't you old? I'm like, yeah, why would I stop? I mean, I'm going to let the 20-year-olds have all the fun? I don't think so. Exactly. Why would I stop? I'm a musician. I was a musician when I was young. I was a musician later. Now I'm old. I'm a musician. It's like, why? There's no expiration date on it. In fact, quite the opposite, that you just bring more to it.
Yeah.
The older you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. That's so beautiful. Like Wayne Dwyer says, don't leave this planet with your song still in you.
Oh, who said that?
Wayne Dwyer. Dyer, sorry.
I love that.
Dwyer. Corinne laughs at me now because I say my words. I love.
Yeah,
I love,
so he
I love
spells his
getting
name.
older.
Yeah, he spells his
Dyer.
name Dwyer. That's why she
But
said
it's
Dwyer. It's Wayne
Dwyer,
Dyer.
but it's
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, remember who he is? He passed a
Yes.
while. Yeah. So he was like
I
he was
say
like the
words
white
wrong all the
Deepak.
time, and I don't mind. I lose car in the parking lot. I don't
Yeah,
mind.
we were talking about that before Eddie lost the car in the parking lot earlier
No.
today.
I was like, I just have to, we have to remember where it is. It's when the problem is if you forget what your car keys are for, then it's
No,
an issue.
then that's an issue. Yes,
That's an
that would
issue.
be an issue.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I know what
Still
they're
know
for.
what the car keys are for. We're not quite that old yet, Ed.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not
No,
yet.
no,
Oh my
no.
gosh, Ellen, I feel like we could have doubled this podcast. It could have, because you're just such a joy to speak to. In fact, the lessons always go by so fast because we always have,
do.
I want to catch up. I want to chat a little bit. So that was one of the reasons too I was excited to speak with you, because usually it's in our lesson, which I love, but it's nice to be able to chat.
Yes,
Yeah.
and of course, and it's fun well, first of all, thank you for asking me to share my thoughts about this. I mean, these are the things that, I think about all day long as I'm doing what I do, but I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this stuff with people like yourselves who I'm sure can relate to all the things I'm saying. It's certainly not special to me. I don't even think the things I'm talking about are special to teaching music. I think they just have to do with working with people with anything. I mean, people are people, and learning is learning, and it's almost secondary what the subject matter is. It's more about how you're relating and supporting, like the process and the relationship between the teacher and the student, and what can be created out of that is secondary to, well, are we studying Greek, or are we studying guitar, or are we studying yoga, or are we studying, or whatever, or learning to cook? Anything. It's really remarkable how sort of universal these principles are.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Ellen. You're amazing.
Okay.
Thank
Wow.
you, Ellen.
Well, thank you.
I think Corinne and I should Zoom and learn some more tunes soon.
I'm ready. I am here doing my thing. So I'm ready
is.
anytime.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to see you, and you look awesome, and I love
thanks.
this conversation. Loved it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.